All right, let's see if this actually works. Hey, look, no drop frames today. That's a new one for Time Warner because I've been streaming at 2 to 3 megabit per second recently. So today we're going to be going over something that's a little bit different from what I'm usually doing. So today we're going to be going over. Let me show you. Ah, shush. Why is it? No, turn off. Don't want to hear myself. All right, let's see. Yoink. So, what do I have to do here? All right, so what we're going to be doing today is working on a Tektronix. And you can see over here what this person wants me to do. So I have to remove one chip that's burned, remove one of the working chips and put it where the burned one is, and then remove a third chip, and then give that chip back to the customer. And this is a very expensive looking Tektronix piece of equipment. Now this thing has, the board looks like it has a very high thermal mass, so what I did is I actually started preheating it before I'm going to work on it. And that means that it's done from the oven. So that means I can pick it up and bring it to the desk. Preferably with something to protect my hands so I don't burn. Yeah, I'll use this. This'll do. Alright. This is one nice preheated board. Not too hot. We use a very low temperature on the infrared preheater, just enough that the board is not cold, because you don't want to be working on a cold board. Hey, Paul, how are you? Panzerfin is here. Cool. Some names that I recognize. So, there's a Snapple bottle in front of this piece of... Can't see my screen. Okay, so I'm going to get this in focus, and these are the 4 chips. And as you can see, one of them is blown up. So that is a very... According to him, the guy that sent it, he said that this Tektronix chip is something crazy, like $150 for one chip. Like, and I bitch about the fact that graphics chips are expensive, but look at this thing. So that little chip right there is about $150. Jesus. Anyway, so the first thing I got to do is obviously remove the one that's destroyed. And I'm going to work with the one that's destroyed first because I want to get a little bit of an idea of what the thermal mass and everything is like on this board. It's not like I work on Tektronix oscilloscopes every day. We are a laptop repair store. So let's see how this goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is give myself a little bit more room on the table here. Just move the microscope back. Move this back, which means I have no space for the keyboard, but this is New York, so I'm used to having no space for anything. So let's work on this. Hello. Hello, Amy. I recognize some names here. Paul, Dave. Very cool. People are watching. Look at that. All right, so now I saved myself. I saved my only set of good tweezers for this damn job. See what the table looks. Yeah, table's good. So I'm not gonna waste too much time since the board itself is getting cold as I sit here. Well, not cold, but cooler. Cooler. So let's get to work. This is my hot air right here. Now I captain taped the entire area around this chip because the area around this chip there is a huge connector. There is a huge connector next to it that I don't want to melt. I told the guy that there's a very low chance of me not melting that thing, but, you know, try to do the right thing. You try to do the right thing and not melt it. Right. So let's see how many layers this board is. There's a heatsink pad under this chip, which is going to be something. So hey, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And as you can see, there's a leg that's actually stuck to the board on the bottom. I can show you that. That's crazy. Look at that. Look at that. The leg burned itself to the board. Crazy stuff right there. Just put that in the microscope for you. Hi, new sub here from Los Angeles. Hello. It looks like you're going to break the tweezers. Nonsense! I only break the tweezers when I throw them at the wall, which is more often than you may imagine. Alright, so we're going to clean this section. So let's just get the proper soldering tip on here to do some cleaning of the board. So I got my nice BCM2 over here. See that? See? It's flat. It's not perfectly flat. It has a hole in the middle to hold solder, but it's better than nothing. So we're going to use that. The first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of leaded solder. You should definitely do more videos on non-laptop repairs. I know there's no money in it, but it'll be damn interesting. Yeah, that's the thing. Not to be greedy, but, you know, rent, employees, insurance, liability insurance, workman's comp insurance, all that stuff. That costs money. And I need money to pay all those things. So, usually I don't do this stuff. But today we're making an exception. No pressure, Lewis. That thing only cost 17,000 bucks. Yeah, I was clear. I have no way of testing this when I'm done. I mean, the thing is, I have no way of testing it right now. I have no way of testing whether this thing works, and that's a bit of a point of contention for me. That's one of the big reasons I don't work on a lot of this stuff, because for a lot of people give me something with MacBooks, and they'll say, you know, it's oh, the screen isn't working, and then I'll go to power it on and it's dead. And that happens many times a day, and having that conversation is important, because if you don't have that conversation, when you take it in, and then you call them back when the tech gets to it an hour later and it's dead, they're going to go, it wasn't dead, you killed it. And I've had that, so I've had attitudes when it comes to customer service that, you know, I have a specific set of procedures that I follow just to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen to me, because that stuff happening, usually, it really sucks. It kind of ruins the experience. And it also ruins the business, and it also gets you a lot of 1 stars that I don't really want to have to deal with, and chargebacks and claims and, you know, just things that are not fun. But sometimes I'll make an exception, and this is one of those exceptions. So I want to see how this goes. If this goes well, I will entertain doing this more in the future. If this winds up a complete clusterfuck, then I won't do this in the future. But there's only one way to find out, and I'm willing to find out here. So, but yeah, that is the thing that worries me. Like, I got the board by itself. I have no way of testing if this works. Absolutely zero way to see if this is any good. And I have zero way to test if it works when I'm done. So I am just blindly replacing a chip. Chip replacement for hire, which is the exact opposite of what I usually do. But we'll see. I hope it goes well. I really do hope it goes well, because then I'd be able to work on some other stuff. It would be cool to work on some other stuff. What scope is this? Whose scope is this? This scope belongs to this person over here, who on EV blog, looks like he has a lot of posts. He's a good supporting member, and somebody recommended me. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so we're gonna go back here, and again, I can't show you if this works when it's done. I have no way to plug this shit in. But so there's not going to be any fun at the end. Do you work from home? I have not worked from home for 7 or 8 years now. I don't like working from home. I think it's awful. I mean, I do some work from home, like I do some website stuff from home. But But when I get home, I try to avoid doing, like, I'm not going to meet customers there. I'm not going to keep inventory there. I don't even have a screwdriver at home. Also, by the way, you can see that one of the pads is starting to come off on the bottom. You see where the burned pin was? The pin, I bet you can probably guess which one is the burned pin. But see this over here? This one with the burned pad is slightly out of place, so I'm just going to move that. Can I move that back? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to move that back into place. So this came unglued when that pad got burned, but there's no big deal there. I can always just jumper it straight to here, so that's not going to be a big problem. But it's just something to think about, and something to make sure that I see before we go forward here. So now that it's clean, I'm just going to use a little bit of the alcohol. With the alcohol, I'm just going to use the hot air to blow away the alcohol. And then I'm just going to put some flux on all the pins. And then I'm just going to put a bit of solder. Now here, I really cannot fuck around and put too much solder on the center pad. That's one of my favorite hobbies, is putting too much solder on the center pad. This is not a QFN. This is not a QFN. Things will bridge if I do that, so I cannot get away with it. With a QFN, if I have too much solder on the center pad, I can just go, okay, I got too much solder, there's a blob over here, okay, let me solder around it. Here, I cannot get rid of that, because as you can see, there are actual pins. So think of it, there's a fence around the middle pad. So if I put too much solder on the center pad, I will screw myself. So I'm going to make an active effort to not screw myself. So let's put some solder on here, and get to work. You're lucky the chip looks so fucked up. I've never seen a shit FireWire chip in a Motu look anything other than perfect. Let's see. Which hot air station would you recommend for beginners? Weller, WHA, 900 that try to find one used. I recommend that until I can find out if that Quick is good or a piece of shit. A lot of people have good things to say about the Quick 861DW. I just want to try it, and I bought one off of Ali whatever, and it never showed up, so I never got to try it. But I do want to get around to showcasing that one day because a lot of people like it, and maybe it'll be a good thing for you guys to use. Since Eli is away next week, I need you to stream daily at 1 p.m. this week so I have someone to listen to instead. I don't usually stream early unless I want to sarcastically take away viewers. I've joked about that recently, like, now time to take away all of Eli's viewers. XGQ something that I'll read later says, Lewis, Windows 10 has much better scaling than 8. If you are afraid of spying, try Win 10 Privacy. Keep up the good work. Your videos are great. Much obliged. I've actually been thinking of switching to Mac OS 10 on my PC, just because I have Windows 10 at home, and I appreciate that. I have Windows 10 at home, and the scaling, it has scaling, but it's shit. It's kind of shit. It's not terrible. It's better than Windows 8, that's for sure. But it's not even remotely close to as good as OS 10. So I've been thinking of trying that. I've actually been thinking, and the thing is, here's the thing. I need to learn how to use OS 10. One of these days, I have to learn how to use that operating system. Like, I'll never forget, sometime in 2010 or 2011, a customer asked me about Safari, and I said, what's Safari? And they looked at me like I had 6 heads. And I mean, rightfully so. They expect that I know how to use a Mac. And I have no idea how to use a Mac. Like, I just looked at them and said, what's Safari? So, I'm 12. I love your videos and live stream. It's taught me a lot about Mac and computers in general. Thank you for that. Oh, thanks for watching. All right, so. Now you'll see that if I have some pads that are where the solder doesn't look perfect, you'll see that when I remove the chip next to it, that it's actually going to even everything out a little because there's going to be some residual flux there that'll help the solder flow. Don't make a Hackintosh. I'm not going to buy a Mac because I can't buy a Mac that has a PCI Express card slot, and I'm not going to do that thing. I just refuse to do that thing where I buy a Thunderbolt to PCI Express enclosure, because I just can't do that if I buy a $3,000 computer. I can't. Like, give me a PCI Express card slot, or give me the Thunderbolt adapter for free. But if I spend $3,000 in a computer, I expect to be able to plug my capture card into it, and if you won't let me, then just GTFO. That's just me. Would you build a Hackintosh? I have one already, the one back there. That's a Hackintosh. But I don't use it, but it's not really supposed to be used for video or anything like that. Okay, I need just enough on the center pad, and I think I have just enough on the center pad. So now we're going to remove the chip that's next to it and place it on there. So now I'm going to try to heat both sections of the board at the same time. Do you know the Game Boy Zero project? I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Come on, pick up. I lost the little thing that keeps my flux from not being fresh. The scaling isn't great on OS 10 unless you're on a Retina screen. If you're using a non-Apple screen, you only have high resolution options. We'll see. One way to find out. I'm open to trying to figure out how to use a Mac. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to use a Mac. I have to learn how to use it. Just because I'm in this business, I need to at least use one, or know how to use one, because I have no idea how to use a Mac. It's confusing to me. I just received flux from you. Hope I can make it some magic as you do. 15 days to CZ, but I had to pay an extra USD 17 as tax. Ouch. Yeah, I've always if you can find any of the things that I sell in your own country, I would. Whoa, this is close to dropping this in my you-know-what. I would highly recommend trying to check things out in your own country. Just because shipping, customs, all that. Is this some sort of capture hardware? Yeah, the thing I'm talking about, the PCI Express card, that's a Magewell quad channel, so I can capture 4 HDMIs at once. It's a really cool device. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm heating from far away first. So I'm going to heat from far away first, just to get, you know, in case the board's cooled a little bit. Linux is the best, but you end up customizing for hours. Dude, jack audio in Linux is so fucking confusing. And again, as I've said, it could be that there's just too much fluoride in my water. All I want to do is use those CAF audio plugins, and I want to be able to output that to Open Broadcaster. And then they say, oh, you don't need a virtual audio cable. You can use jack. And it's like, but Open Broadcaster doesn't have an input for jack. I spent a good 45 minutes with it before I just gave up. So, and the program I use for audio, it's also available on OS X, which makes me consider OS X as a viable option. Come on, little chip. There we go. Chip comes off. As you can see, there are a couple of solder bridges, but we'll get that fixed up like easy breezy. Easy peasy, easy breezy. Fixing solder bridges is what we do. I'm not scared of no solder bridge. You can use virtual audio cables with pulse audio. So then I have to figure out a way to... That's the thing. As soon as you turn on jack, pulse audio stops working, and it's just like a cluster. So I got to find a... Because here's what I do right now. I'll show you. And if somebody can tell me how to do this with Linux, I would... I'll have a giveaway. There'll be something in the mail for you if somebody can point out how... Not just like, oh, try this, but like actually a walkthrough on how to do this shit properly. So what I do is I have the, over here, audio settings. The input is my HDMI capture. The output is my virtual audio cable. I have a plugin over here, a compressor for when I scream, and also a low-cut filter so your subwoofer doesn't rumble if I do something stupid. I have a limiter over here, and then audio output goes to Open Broadcaster. Open Broadcaster over here has a setting. Yeah, in audio, I have the virtual audio cable there. And that works. I would like to be able to do that in Linux without having to spend hours and hours of time on it. And the thing is, you probably can do it. It's a question of whether or not I have the fortitude to spend the hours and hours of time figuring it out. Okay. So, time to put the chip on. Now notice we have a very small lump in the middle, and that solder is going to be for the heatsink and ground pad. This board is actually a very large heatsink. So these chips run very hot. I looked them up before taking on the job. And so that needs to be soldered very, very clearly to the... This chip needs to be soldered to the center pad very well. If it's not, then the frogs will, well, what the person in the chat said. David funded $1. Thank you. And I think let's see. Might have put a little too much solder on the center pad, so I'm just going to take off a little bit just to be safe. Again, we don't need a lot of solder. It doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to be barely enough for it to just conduct. So I'd rather be safe than sorry here. Rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to remove a tiny bit from the center pad. Just a small bit, not a bunch. We're going to have it. All you need is a really small lump there. All I need is a really tiny lump. It's evenly spread. Like that's good enough. All right, so let's just clean that one more time. Too much of a perfectionist. Pulse audio is done by the same person who's doing System D, says Paul. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut before I start a war in the chat. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut there. My lips are shut. I didn't say anything. I haven't said a word. I have not said a word. Chris Long says, odd seeing an IC with legs and center ground plane. This is old, that's probably why. I'm pretty sure this thing is quite old. Okay. I just want to have a nice clean board there, so that's why I just removed a little bit of stuff that was stuck. Tektronix has some affordable... Most people use the Regal or Rigol. Rigol. I guess Rigol is the way you pronounce it, probably. If they want affordable, or that's what I have, because I'm a cheapskate. You people who watch this channel, you know I'm too cheap to buy one of these things. I would if it made me money, but I don't think there's a way to actually turn the scope into money in my particular business. There's not much of a way to do that, so I don't. FFmpeg has high pass, low pass filters built in as command line arguments. Yeah, but like, are they gonna have a compressor? Are they gonna have like a compressor and then a limiter? And do I really want to screw with command line? Like, oh, how do I integrate FFmpeg's command line options for audio into? Yeah, I mean that just sounds like a nightmare. That sounds like me reading manuals. And I'm okay reading manuals to do new stuff. I just don't want to read manuals to do stuff that I already know how to do. But it would be, you need 3 null sinks in Pulse Audio, 2 loopbacks, and FFmpeg. I'd like to be able to use like a graphical plugin. I know that's probably crazy, but there's something about this that I like. Like what? Like, you know, I like visuals. I like multimedia. Yeah, let's see. Can I like watch? See? If I yell, ah! See, I could see the in, I can see the out, I can see how much gain. I don't know. You know, I like being able to see stuff. You know, I like being able to see stuff. I think it's cool. And CAF Audio has a lot of really cool stuff. I was very impressed with what I saw from CAF Audio. It was not like, this is not the Linux that I was using 10 years ago, where like, you know, if you wanted to do any type of professional creative work, it was a middle finger. Very impressive. All right, so let's get this thing on here. I'm just going to preheat the board a little bit. And we've got some solder bridges from removing the old chip, but I'm sure that we're going to be able to fix those quite simply. Settle into place. Good chip. Okay, so there were some solder blobs from the old chip. And you'll see that those are going to be removed by the BCM2 like a breeze. Because the thing with this soldering tip is that it has a very high thermal mass. It's also a very large tip. So watch how this works. So now there's still flux there. I'm going to do this, and you can see a lot of it's going to get sucked onto the tip. Just do that one more time. More of it's going to get sucked onto the tip. Add a little bit of Chris Long's favorite wick over here. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. We can always do those piece by piece. And maybe if I'll just slide it into place. Everything that I do is usually crooked. It's like a trademark. Jason's laughing because he knows that it's true. All right, so we're just going to doink this into place right here. Can you turn my air up to 10? Awesome. All right. Yeah. Okay, now I push down a little bit on the center. And the reason I push down a little on the center is because I want to make sure that that heatsink pad is making good contact, because if it's not, this thing is going to overheat and die. I had my first YouTube fan visit my business, and it was exactly like you described. He drove 300 miles to drop off his equipment. He followed me around my office, wanted to chat. It was just very weird. Yeah, tell me about it. Fucking tell me about it. Okay, so now we're going to fix whatever bridges are there. Touch up any of the joints that could use touching up. And for this, yeah, let's see. Should I use the BCM2 or should I use the T15JSO2? TCRS's fans are, yeah. Paul, do you remember the time that I let a fan use a power tool? There was a guy that was waiting outside the store, and I was actually stupid enough to let him in and use a damn power tool. That was bad. You see how this tip, because it's really large and has a high thermal mass, is just sucking up the, this tip is easily sucking up the shorts? It's beautiful. Watch, you're gonna see it again right up here. It's just gonna take those short circuits and just bada bing, bada boom. This area is a little bit harder because there's not as much working distance up here, but what is this Tektronix chip? That's a good question. I forget. The only thing I remember from when I looked it up, is that it runs boiling hot. Aside from that, not really 110% sure. What it does. I can tell Jason idolizes you. He dresses the same. Are you kidding? What? Okay, what are you wearing? I have an Under Armour shirt. You have a green T-shirt. There's nothing. What? I would fire Jason if he idolized me. That would make him a fan. And that would be breaking the no fan rule.
I think what they mean is that we both suck at dressing.
Oh, we both suck at dressing. Found the channel a few days ago and can't stop browsing the archive. Learned a ton already. That's awesome. You know what? Screw this. I think I would be doing better off with the T15 JSO2 at this point. So I'm going to switch over rather than torture myself. However, all of my T15 JSO2s are... I can barely fit in this space. That's why I want the curvy thingy. Where do you get board views? The internet. The internet. If you can't find it on the internet, then sucks to be you. Have you thought about running a Twitch broadcast along with YouTube again? I've considered it. I've actually considered it. In fact, there's a small chance that this very broadcast you may find over at Twitch, where there's better chat. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this fits in a lot better. All right, so let's just get rid of this bridge. And some of these bridges were from removing the chip. This is just something that's going to happen if you're using chips from a donor board every now and then. The solder is going to come off with them. Love the videos, man. Says Xnet E. Thank you. Methinks Lewis doth protest too much. I've never understood the point of that saying. Okay. Just gonna go over each joint here. The one thing that sucks is I like to ultrasonic all my boards before returning them to customers. This doesn't even... I can't even pretend to fit this in my ultrasonic cleaner. If I try to put this in my... I can't even fit half of this in. I couldn't... So, unfortunately, the cleaning job I'm going to have to do is manual, which I'm not a big fan of. I'd rather ultrasonic it, because it comes out looking factory when you do that. And I like that look. But we'll see. Are you saying my YouTube chat is bad? Chris, you have 7 or 10 people watching, which I'm sometimes jealous of, because your chat actually has good discussion. Whereas my chat, well, you're here, so yeah, you know what that is. Yeah, okay. And also, do note that this pad over here, the one that was ripped, is now not the one that was ripped, the one that was kind of off to the side, by the burned pad, is now perfectly straight, which is great. And we're going to do all the pins on the other side. And then I have to remove another chip for him that he wants back, because I'm guessing that this thing can work with just 2 chips. Lewis makes more money than girls on Chatterbait. What is Chatterbait? Is that what I think it is? Are you combining the words chat and masturbate? I feel like I'd do a lot better on this platform if I had enhanced mammary glands. My mammary glands are not exactly designed for success on Twitch, I would say. Left-handed soldering, baby. Okay, we got another bridge. Okay, clear the bridge. Okay, I wanted to feel the joint on each individual one rather than just relying on the hot air. So now that I've felt each individual joint and I feel that I'm happy with them, I'm good. Right side, you missed 1 pin. Almost good. I meant almost good. Yeah, totally almost good. It's actually solder. Let's see if it moves. Let's see. Let's see, because technically that may be a joint. Yeah, that's a joint. What do you mean I missed? That thing's not moving. But you're right. That is a shitty joint, and it should be went over. Nice catch. Who caught that? Who caught that? Crap. The chat scrolled, so I can't see who caught that. But very good catch. Very good catch. This joint could have definitely been better. So let's touch that up. Bam. Made great. All right. And let me just lower the temperature of the hot air station considerably and just use it to blow some of the flux away. So this is not really at soldering temperature right now. It's just at a temperature to clear away some of the flux so I can see what everything looks like a little better. This is not at a really melted temperature. Get a boob job, identify as female, and you'll be swimming in money in no time, says Teal Knight. That's a lot of work, though. I've been telling Jessa that. I've been trying to turn Jessa into a you know what. But that, we'll see. At least it's an experiment. Upper left are bridged. This is why we go over things in a microscope before giving it back. Yeah. There ain't getting nothing past you people. There ain't getting nothing past you people. Would you fix a vintage Game Boy with lines in the screen? No. Because I'd have to buy a bunch of stuff in order to do that. It would be a one-time repair. It would take me a long time to do, and if I don't fix it, I don't get paid. And now I have a bunch of Game Boy parts that I'm never going to use ever again that I paid for. So what I would suggest is that you find someone like me that specializes in the specific thing that you want done, who's also not an idiot. So somebody who has general knowledge and can do other things, but who decides that they want to work in this one area. Not like a specialist that can only do one thing, and if they were, they had to make a sandwich, that they wouldn't be able to figure out how to make the sandwich. What's your favorite food? Tempeh burrito. Tempeh burrito. You thought of doing console repairs? No. A lot of the problems are related to BGA chipsets that you can't get new or that are paired to the console, the drive, and just terrible things like that. Okay, so now the next thing I got to do, so I've moved I have moved U1813 to U1823. So now let's check out my instructions and check out what step 2 is. So step 1, I would like to have U1823 removed and discarded. It has been discarded. U1813 would be removed and put in U1823. I've done that. And then U1833 would be removed and returned to me. So I've got a bag here that I can put it in. Nice little protective bag. So the third thing I got to do now is remove U1833 and put it over there, and then it'll be set. T-Merc donated $4, and I got to make that not transparent because I can't read that. Let's see. Yeah, I genuinely can't read that. Let's see. I really want to thank you for this channel. I watch your life advice and videos every day. I have a question. I was thinking about starting my own repair shop. I'm in a rural area and afraid I may not get enough customers. Do you have any advice? Yes, I have the best piece of advice for you. This goes for both recording studios. This goes for repair shops. This goes for almost any type of business. A soft start. So when I say soft start, what I mean is that I don't open a store and then hope that people will come. Don't open a studio and hope that people will come. What you're going to do is you're going to start advertising service, and you can do it out of your home. You can go to the customer's location. Whatever it is you do it out of a basement somewhere, but do it where you're not paying money for it. And the reason for this is you want to see if the business is viable before you invest in it. You need some way to figure out if what you're doing is a good idea or not before you jump into it. So what I suggest that you do is what I call a soft start. Because you don't need an office for a lot of this stuff that you're going to do. You don't need a store. People think that if I build a studio, they will come. That's wrong. What you should do is use a freelance studio, and once you have so many clients that you have scheduling issues with the freelance studio, and you can no longer rely on being able to get space, then you open a studio. You open a studio to have customers for all the people that want to work with you that you don't have a space for. You don't get a studio, start paying rent, pay for construction, only to find out that nobody wants to work with you. So don't do things ass backwards. Because everybody thinks, I set up, then I start. No, you start, and then you find the setup that works. All right, so now it's time to remove this other chip over here. And the same thing is going to be true for restore. I remember you saying before that you think you have unsteady hands. I disagree. Yeah, long story. Who is Kate Floss? A 4chan troll. Let's see the whole board. Not possible. This is a microscope cam. I can't show you the whole board. I could if I had an overhead cam, but my overhead cam is actually at home at the moment. Because I do have a camera that I can use, that I've used for some reviews here. But that camera is the one that I use for home. I didn't want to buy another one. You get Ozan funded $1. Thank you, and I'm sorry that I just mispronounced and butchered your name. I'm not even sure if I did, but I probably did, so I figured I should apologize for it. Ever plan on letting Jason operate his own? If Jason's going to operate his own thing, he's going to do it under his name. I wouldn't take Jason for the type of person that would want a franchise. And I don't see myself as wanting a franchise. What would you do if you had 10 kids and they all wanted to follow in your footsteps? I don't. That question is far too general. You have a car and can drive. What do you do? I mean, come on. If you're asking why don't I use a suction cup, it's because I need more room for that. VB Audio Virtual Apps has a virtual audio cable that allows routing between applications, including plugins and VSTs. Now tell me that works in Linux. Tell me that works in Linux. That would be so cool. I actually paid $25 for this plugin, and a lot of people will say that that's dumb. Why did you pay for a plugin? That's incredibly stupid, blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. But the free one had 3 seconds of lag and latency and crashed all the time, and it was worth $25. Okay, so we're going to put the chip into the bag. Now I'm going to put this chip in a bubble wrap and then a bubble mailer, and then I'm going to send it back to this guy. So now all that's really left to do is, I guess, clean off the pads as a courtesy, and then clean off the solder that's already on those pads. Make it flat. And then clean off the board with some alcohol, and then move on to something else. And what am I missing? Lorit donated 5. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Whose scope are you repairing? This person's. So whoever, this guy. Hope. Wait a second. I need the BCM too. Okay, donated $1. I agree with your point from the last video. There was one thing I did not like as a child as well. If my parents wanted to make a point to each other without me understanding, they did this in another language. Ah, yeah. One of the funniest moments at work here is there's this one guy that I know that's very multilingual. He can speak Italian, he can speak German, he can speak Russian, he can speak Albanian, he can speak Spanish. It's just insane. And there were these group of Russian women that were walking out and saying, "This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing." And then he said, so he responds. He says, "I may be an idiot, but I know how to fix your problem, and at least I'm cute." And they were fucking mortified because they knew that he could hear. It was one of those very satisfying customer service moments. Incredibly satisfying customer service moments. I think I missed one. If I missed a comment, somebody let me know. Here, Durban Soda gives $1. Thank you. Remember, if you ever remove the soldering iron while the wick is still touching the board, it's very important that you not move the wick because it will drag everything away. I've been watching your channel since 2013 and I'm impressed. The quality of your videos and the effort put down in making board repair tutorials is mind-blowing. I just wanted you to know that you've helped that you have helped me with a lot with fixing electronics. Keep up the good work and have a nice day. Thank you. Isn't board marked with components pretty? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at this. I mean, look at that. It says the name of the component on the board. How often do you see that? That's insanity. You never see that stuff. It's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. I mean, okay. And would Sonny ever be able to steal Jason from you? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, by the way, I got this one comment recently where this guy was saying that this is a funny one. Let me see if I can show it to you. Because this actually ties into a topic I was debating discussing. Let's see. Here we go. So this is one of the things that nobody ever thinks about that I think is a... I love this video, an American mad at an Asian because he does not overcharge for doing work, and it ate away at him throughout the video. 87 for a Touch IC. It's Touch IC, not Touch ID, but again, can't expect much. 10 times in the video. Even when he fixed the problem he was tasked to do, he still harped on the Asian guy for not overcharging. This represents why us Americans do not manufacture anymore, because every employee wants to make 50 an hour to do simple manual labor. This is where... that anywhere else in the world is for a lot less. Obviously, this is not manual labor. It is skilled labor and demands more money, but this gentleman charged $2.29 for 15 minutes of work, and I bet the Asian guy next to him would have charged less. Big assumption right there. And finished the work attaching the connector. This is just observation based on the short video. I don't know the guy, so take it with a grain of salt. First thing is that the guy who brought it was actually charging his customer more for that than I was charging him, because it's not a charity. Funny thing. But the second thing is, the second funny thing that I didn't mention there, the really funny one is, because the thing is, I did a video on minimum wage here, and I got a lot of crap for my minimum wage video. And one of the things that a lot of the people who make those type of comments don't realize is, what is the wage gap between the person who would do a Touch IC here and the person who would do a Touch IC there? Like, not going to say the numbers, because that was the funny, because in one of those videos I asked, so what are you paying that guy? And he said, a number that he's happy with. Oh man, funny stuff. Anyway. Oh, no, this one guy commented, you know the JTAG video where Sonny said that I do iPhone 6 Touch ICs for $80 or something? I looked at him and I'm like, $80? Seriously? And then somebody commented, wow, this is why America is failing in wages and blah, 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 and because of... And my point is, how much is that person doing that Touch IC getting paid? Yeah, I'm not saying, I'm just proposing the question. There. All right. I might as well clean off the first one so it looks good as well. Just, yeah, so that's a nice, sexy, clean-looking set of pads. This over here is a pile of shit. Might as well clean the chip off as well. What's the occasion for fixing that scope? I want to see if fixing other devices that I cannot test is a nightmare. Because I get people every day calling and asking if I'll... Here, WBX, you seem to be accepting donations. Curious if you still believe your old video, show me your success, not money mantra. I have no problem donating regardless. One of the problems that I was having with this is that people were actually looking up my domain name. So people would look up my domain if they wanted to make a donation. They would send money to that address, which is not my PayPal address, and since I never read that email anyway, I wouldn't respond to them. And then I started getting emails from people pissed off because they were insulted because I had not acknowledged their donation. And at that point, like once that happened 2 or 3 times, I added this feature. But I would definitely rather see something that you have... The thing is, there's a lot of channels that I've noticed that what they do, like they make videos that are kind of, they're not really educational, they don't really make you think, you don't really learn much from them, but there's some novel aspect to it. And then there's like a Patreon where they ask for, $20 a month. And I've always, the point of that video is I want to see what you do rather than have make content that is purely designed just to get you to spend something. So if you want to leave a tip, yes. However, if you don't have money and you want to get into this, I would suggest that you use that money towards equipment rather than this. And I do want to see what it is you actually do with the content here. Because again, there are channels, a lot of channels that make content. I'm not going to say the names of it, where there's a novelty to it, but you can't really do anything with it. Yeah, crap, didn't have the camera on. And I do like making content that you can actually do something with, like if somebody watches that parenting video and actually thinks about it and changes how they parent, like that's more important to me than a Patreon. And the other thing was when I saw how much it cost to actually travel for Right to Repair. Like when I saw that I had spent almost $5,000 this year on hotel and airfare and all this other crap to record stuff in Nebraska and to lobby with Jessa and Michael Oberdick in Nashville. And then putting the ticker up, I felt a little less guilty. Because that shit was expensive as hell. Like the video from the Right to Repair thing made about $60 in monetization. However, the cost of buying the extra wireless stuff and that I may have needed and a little splitter box in case they had a mixer there, and yeah, I don't want to think about that because that makes me sad. That makes me sad. But it was a good lobbying experience. You did definitely learn a lot. Let's see. Oh, so much chat cancer. Let's. I heard you mention your first couple of businesses in the early 20s failed. One of them was the supply business. So the business of trying to be a wholesaler of laptop screens and do wholesale, retail, all of that. That did not go very well. That did not go very well. That was bad. That was a bad idea. Do not open a eBay. Jackie Jack says you missed my donation. Okay, so did you do Super Chat, YouTube, via YouTube, or did you use the little link? Okay, now let's look this up. I have to get a dashboard or something where it kind of goes across the stream because if I'm in the microscope and I don't make it to the screen fast enough, I don't see it. Okay, let's see. Where did I? No, that's the wrong one. I'll find it. I'm gonna find it if it kills me. I did via. Aha! Here we go. I'm gonna find it. There we go. One of these days I'm going to get a proper system for all of this and be organized with it. Aha! Hey Lewis, I watched that vid with your youngest viewer. I am 26 and I always wanted to be in the computer electronics repairing business, but I was forced into another career by my parents. Love your channel. Give it the good words. Also fix my phone. Yeah. Hopefully it's not a screen. Okay, firstly, what's wrong with your phone? But more importantly, what do you do? And 10 times more importantly than what you do, what did your parents want you to do, and why did you get into it if you didn't want to? This is the thing. A lot of parents push people into doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. I mean, and then they wind up hating their lives. That's How do you deal with the persistent fans that come in the store, the ones that won't take the hint? I had a Mrs. Lou, nice try, mofo, come into the store today, simply won't leave me alone. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, at some point, you just have to realize that you have to be mean, and it's not you, it's that they're making you mean. Freshness said, how would you advise a repair business to sell off extra parts? eBay, Amazon, create their own e-commerce website, thanks. Sadly, I hate to say it, but eBay. I hate to say it, but for spare random crap, there's nothing that's going to be better than eBay. There's nothing that's going to get you the exposure necessary for random one-off parts than eBay. It's even better than Amazon in that regard. For commodity products, fine, have your own website or use Amazon, but for random one-off shit, eBay. I was forced into studying law, and now I am working for a big energy drink company. Oh. Well, the first thing I would say is that you probably make a lot more money than I do, and unlike me, you have a job that's probably going to be here in 10 or 20 years. So as much as you may hate it, well, at least there's something there. And the second thing is that doesn't mean that you have to necessarily be away from technology. For example, you could be a lawyer that is really, like a lot of lawyers that deal with technology, they don't, I don't want to be insulting, it's just they don't know what's going on a lot of the time when it comes to the, what was I just looking at? I was looking at something I wanted to touch up. This thing. A lot of lawyers don't understand technology, so they can't really know when something is legitimate, a legitimate claim or bullshit. So what you could do is you can kind of do a hybrid where you get into you get into the technology aspect of law, where you could, and you're not going to be doing exactly what I do, but you're still going to be involved with technology. I think that would be an interesting thing. What's wrong with the scope? I have no idea. Because I don't work on Tektronix. However, I do know that it had a burned chip, and I just replaced that burned chip, and it's going to be awesome. Right, so let's see if anything moved under the captain tape. I'm sure it did. My over-paranoia probably screwed me. So let's see. I'm going to remove the captain tape, and with any luck, nothing's sticking to it. Is anything sticking to it? Nope. Everything's there. All right, so this is all good. So all that's really left to do is clean whatever stuff got under the captain tape. We're going to look at the connector, and hopefully it didn't get owned, and then maybe clean the solder off of the old chip that I removed that I'm sending back to the guy just to be nice. Just to be nice. I'll probably never repair logic boards except maybe changing some caps, but the way you teach things, make and sort that learning this is learning more, that repair is learning logic. Huh. Start uploading more of this non-Apple brand stuff, and I think your chat will get better. Yeah, I have a feeling that the chat that I will... I have a feeling that Tektronix may attract better chat than this, but you never know. Damn. Even with the heat, even with the preheating, this was quite a... This is quite a very heavily heat-sink board. Very interesting. It feels like a quality board, too. This feels like quality right here. All right, so let's see how the connector fared. Did I destroy the connector, or is it still in good condition? Because this board takes a lot of heat. And one of the reasons I did all the preheating that I did was so that I wouldn't have to use as much heat from the well or hot air, so that I wouldn't destroy this connector over here. And the connector seems to have actually come out unhinged. See, so always set expectations low and then do good work. So I told him that he should expect that this connector is going to be completely destroyed and mangled, and it actually came out looking like I never touched it, which is great. Why do you use gloves? Because I don't want to touch flux, and I don't want to touch nasty customers' nasty devices. This is a clean customer. This board looked beautiful, like very well taken care of. However, a lot of the stuff that I get is not very well taken care of. It looks like shit. It smells like shit. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. Oh. You are a hero. To say you earned 30, you have a lot of life experience, great videos. Thank you. I kind of liked the word hero until YouTube started that heroes program thing. Just make sure you don't look up to people too much. Just make sure you don't look up to people too much. I mean, I appreciate the compliment, I do, but realize, you know, I'm a regular person. You're a regular person. Don't go too high with idolizing people, and don't put people on a pedestal. Just make sure. I'll take the compliment, but I just want to make sure that I'm not on a pedestal. Because... you need to take Jason with you to the gym. No. Jason would kick my ass in soccer. Thought the line break would get you. Are you kidding? I grew up posting on 4chan. I mean, you're not going to get me that easy. You're going to have to put a little bit more effort in if you want to fool me. Sorry. It's going to take a little bit more a little bit higher quality deception. Would you sponsor a video? I can't imagine advertising on someone else's videos. If you mean would I sponsor would I let a company sponsor my videos? I do that with Repair Shopper, which, by the way, I forget to point out in every stream. Do check below for a guide on how to link the CRM system to your phone system, and a link to a free trial to my CRM system. But the thing is, I can't sponsor shit I don't believe in. Like, the reason I sponsor that software is because, to be honest, I was kind of... I tell people that it's good and to use it anyway, so I might as well just do that. Like, I would do something with, let's say, HAKKO or Weller or somebody I believe in, but I get all these offers that for, like, shit like crappy Android games, no. I've gotten offers to sponsor just companies that I don't believe in, and some of them are nice, some of them are viewers, but if I don't believe in it, I'm just not... I'm not doing it. And because it's easy to start saying, I can kind of see how this works. Yeah, this may be a good idea just because you want the money, and I'm not ready to do shit like that. Because the thing is with sponsorships is I'm not closed to the idea. It's just all the sponsorships requests that I get, like they're bad. They're bad companies that sell shit that nobody wants, or they're just ideas that I think are going to end very poorly. So I don't want anything to do with them. Come on, resistor. Slow back, Weesh. Yeah, look nice and clean. Beautiful. All right. So this board, I believe, is as good as it's going to get. I could clean it a little more, but again, I don't have an ultrasonic that's going to fit this freaking thing. So hopefully, I'll go over it with a brush just to get rid of any fibers. I'll go over it with a brush later on. I could probably clean this better if I'm not under a microscope or I have no space. So we're going to remove the solder from the other chip, and after that, maybe move on to another board and call it a day. Do you want to have a sponsorship by a big energy drink company? No, that shit is poison. Those energy drinks are such fucking poison. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. Okay. Pretty. Nice and pretty. Yeah. I don't have a desk that's large enough to put this on. Let's see, can I fit this in a slot? It just fits in a slot. Wow. Just barely. Beautiful. Okay. So let's see if I have a clamp that will fit this chip. I may or I may not. If I do, I can fix it. If I don't, then solder blobs it is. I do. Paul says, I'll sponsor you. The money you pay me for not moderating this chat, I'll bounce back to you. Paul's funny. Oh, people are complaining about the Tektronix PCB. Come on, they labeled stuff. Come on, give them some credit. Give them some credit. Missed the donation, not mine, but I got a chuckle. Oh, God damn it. I suck at this. I gotta... How would you advise for repair? Oh, I answered that one. I like trains. Okay, that one I don't really know what to do with. Do you know Rewa Technologies? I have no idea who that is. Is this an oscilloscopes board? It sure is. All right, so let's see. Will the SMC holder hold this chip? Not even close. Actually, maybe. Let's see. I just got to heat up the flux inside of it. Not only do they label stuff, but they also provide full schematics. And people are complaining, like, come on. Come on. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. Let's see. Some people just like to hate on everything. You have any recommendations for fighting depression? I have 2 videos on that. Lead is best solder, I agree. How come you use metal tweezers? Because they work, and plastic tweezers would burn. Watching you peel an avocado is painful. Have you learned how to do it, or do you want a tip? No, people. I love how people never assume that there are like different reasons for it. Like, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't have a spoon because I'm in a laptop store. It must be that I don't know how to peel an avocado. This is not the. Let's. Do you have a foreskin? I do. Luckily I do. I was not mutilated at birth. Alright, so this is not really... Yeah, I don't have a proper thing to put this in. I don't have a proper clamp for this. So we can try, but it's probably not going to go... Yeah. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Possible to get rid of the bridges. Yeah, this is bull. I need something that's going to hold that. This is really the kind of thing that I should do while it's like soldered to a motherboard. Doing this without it soldered to a motherboard is going to be a pain in the dick. Let's see. Check out Rewa. You should look at them. They have some insane iPhone. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Jess said that you never call her friend. It's obvious that you are good friends. You should tell her. I don't use the F word. I'm not a fan of the F word. I'm a fan. I'm surprised HAKKO and Weller haven't jumped on that. I actually want... I've spoken to both of them at some point in time. Because I used the spreadsheet where I could see what people bought. And when I saw... when I saw that I sold about $78,000 worth of HAKKO products, I figured I would reach out to them, and they have no interest. Because again, I'm happy to get to put stuff that's not shit in products that don't suck into people's hands. I got no problem with sponsoring stuff that's not garbage. It's just there's so much stuff that's garbage. Let's see. How much do you spend? Let's see. Alright, so the flux is going to help the solder flow from the pins to the tip. I'm just going to clean my tip, which, by the way, you can do without circumcision. It's a large myth that you can't clean your tip if it's uncircumcised. You can clearly clean your tip. I never cut the tip of this BCM2. I've never mutilated the tip of this BCM2, and I can easily clean it. The same way that I can clean my other tip. That's just a bunch of myths and bullshit. My iPhone 6s is water damage and charging port. Could that be a problem because it doesn't charge? I'm going to let you answer your own question, particularly since your nickname, your YouTube moniker, has the word professor in it. So I want you to be a professor right now, and I want you to answer your own question. Ready? 1, 2. I mean, come on. You're hurting me here. I was shot in the knee, and I've noticed it's a lot harder to run. Well, gee. Do you think I should see a doctor about my knee? Maybe. Weller has K-12 school system contracts. Yeah, I've sold maybe $10,000 worth of those hot air stations. And I'm happy, too, because I think it's a pretty good hot air station. But, yeah. A1260 donated $3. This might be one of the best channels on YouTube. Would be awesome to have more trustworthy repair shops like you're around. Yes and no. It would be great to have more trustworthy repair shops around, yes. But if you are an A1260, I would probably, yeah. Yeah, like that's one of the very few things where, you know how they said that Apple is throwing shit? I said, you know, I showed you that thing from the recycling company where Apple is demanding that a lot of their stuff get recycled. And it gets shredded rather than recycled. Yeah, the A1260 is one of those few machines where it's like, I wouldn't shed a tear. I wouldn't shed a tear if that happened. Is that the main board or the front end board? I have no idea. It's, I wish I knew. I should get a schematic for this just so I can check it out. And just to be ultra nice, I'm going to ultrasonic the flux off of this little chip. Because I'm such a nice guy. And we're going to make this chip look nice before we send it back. Because that fits in my ultrasonic cleaner. Unlike the board, which is huge and does not. What do you think about a rose gold ThinkPad? Hell no. If you're washing yourself daily, there's honestly no consequence. Yeah, I agree. No need for cutting. No need for mutilating. No need for mutilating. Is this the stream with the highest concurrent viewers? Holy crap, it is. 1,441 people. Eli, are you there? Eli, are you watching? Yeah, so we have 1,255 concurrent viewers on YouTube. And we have 192 viewers on Twitch. Oh, Eli's going to be mad. Eli is going to be mad. Alright, so what else can we fix while we have all these people here? Let's look up some stuff. So I have a touch bar that I have no schematic or board view to. That's gonna suck. So avoiding the touch bar one for the time being. Laptop make along. Okay, we have one that may be bad RAM. Ooh, soldered on RAM. All right, let's see. This may be interesting. Let's check out these soldered on RAM ones. So I'm going to take a short commercial break. We're going to take a short commercial break while I pick up the next machine that we're going to work on. Sadly, it's not a Tektronix. It is a MacBook. I know. It is a crap meh. But let's see. You have a book recommendation. Start with No by Jim Camp. You're going to use that for a lot more in life than what he says you're going to use it for. I guarantee it. Start with No, Jim Camp. Start with No, Jim Camp. What is your Twitch? I have my Twitch name is the same name as the YouTube name. Rossman Group. All right, so let's take that chip. Let's see what it looks like, and then we'll get on to the next machine, which is a Retina that beeps. Come on. Come on out, mofo. By the way, be very careful with these chips that have legs when you're picking them up. Like if you're experienced, fine, do it however you want. But if you're not experienced, then what I would suggest you do is that you pick them up with a suction cup if you don't know what you can get away with in terms of force. I use virtually no force to pick the thing up. Okay, so we have the chip. Let's just get rid of the water, a little bit of alcohol. Isn't that a pretty little Tektronix chip? That's an adorable little chip. That is a nice little Tektronix IC. Okay. Yeah. That is a nice little chip. All right. And now we're going to dry it off. And I have no way to tell if this thing works because I don't have the rest of the scope. But what are you going to do? We're going to dry it at a nice low temperature. Good chip. Nice little chip. Nice and clean. So he can have this thing back now, which is great. Most energy drinks taste like shit, someone says. I agree with you. Yeah, they taste like shit, and they're not good for you. What are your thoughts on HAKKO's hot tweezers? They're pretty good. There's another company whose name I'm not going to mention that said that sent me a postcard talking about how their products are a little bit more money, but they're not made by that cheap Chinese labor or whatever the hell. I'm not going to say the name out of courtesy, but they after saying all that, I asked them about their soldering tweezers, and they said, "How long do you use them for?" And I said, "Why are you asking?" And he goes, "How long do you use them for?" So I said, "Why are you asking?" And then he's like, "How long do you use them for?" I'm like, "Fine, I cave." Usually, like, for 5 to 15-minute increments, and the reason is that because apparently if you use them for more than 30 to 50 seconds at a time, they start to burn your hands. Yeah. So I'm all on that whole, make things in America thing, but for fuck's sake, like, make things in America, burn people. Make things in America, not burn people. It's not rocket science there. It's not. Let's see, that's a great point you made in the past. Before you criticize, consider I may have a reason for doing it this way, which answers 90% of the comments on YouTube. Yeah. Have you ever used silver-based solders? Don't think so. Okay, let's clean the desk off before we get started on the next project. F word. Yeah, don't like the F word. Not a fan of the F word. I had a phone where the battery was going on, and I accidentally washed it one day when I forgot to take it out of my pants. Surprisingly, the phone still worked, and somehow it revived the battery. That's not a good idea. Okay. What's next? Let's grab the next device. All right, next device. A beeping retina. Every time I get a beeping retina, I have that noise going off in my head. You know, like the Sideshow Bob one. Every time he would walk into a rake and it would hit him in the face, and he'd go, gross. Okay. Small office. All right, this goes here, back into its original space. Zoink. Spectre, I break balls, but seriously dig your channel and your content. Good stuff. Keep it up. Thank you. Let's see. Where's my magnets? Okay, beeping retina. You missed a... Okay, now I got to see what platform it's on. Let's see. Was it on this one? You still play on Steam? What are your favorite games? Very rarely I play Dota. On rare occasion. Incredibly rare occasion. And I suck. I played yesterday. I'm terrible. It should still be on Twitch, so if people wanted to laugh at how bad I am, it's quite easy. No desk mat to work on. No, I use paper towels. The thing is, if you get a mat, it just becomes dirty over time. You know, you get little pieces of solder in it. You'll get tiny 0.005 resistors in it, and eventually that stuff will make a mess. So I just use the cheapest, crappiest, shittiest, garbagest paper towel that there is. Beeping retina cracks solder balls under the RAM, or if it isn't, then it's fucked. Yes, exactly. Because I could recognize Lewis's table even without any parts. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
No display, I thought, but I guess not.
Let's see. Can I see? Huh. Oh, wrong cam. Let's can we do desk cams? That's pretty cool. So what's going on with that?
Lots of damage.
Did somebody try to work on it and destroy it before?
Uh,
Every phone that we get is usually like that.
Some places connected.
Love seeing you destroy that M1530. Ah, that was very pleasing. Oh, this is the old one. I hate taking these ones out. Shitty board. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? This is... I appreciate what you did for the young man that called you. Ah, Michael. Yeah, you should check out his channel too. Michael and Beck Tech Tips. Hopefully... I want to marry Jessa, says Heecham. Jessa's already married, so I don't think that's going to work out well for you. You can try. You can always try. Here's to getting a better chair for that Jason guy. No one should be forced to work in a folding chair. It's not a folding metal chair. It's a folding plastic chair. It's much more comfortable. Can you tell them that you have a real chair that you don't use? Because they don't believe me.
Lewis gave my chair to his cats.
Hey! That's not true. That's not true. You know what the funny thing is I have 2 Aeron chairs, and all the people who work in the front actually want to sit in those shitty $30 Lowe's chairs that are completely imbalanced instead of that. And then I get another Aeron chair back here, and he sits in Sonny's folding chair. Traffic says, thanks for the infotainment. Thanks you for watching. By the way, if you're ever opening an A1425, let me show you something to be very careful of. This is the 2012 13-inch Retina. Do you see this? This is called the screw. This screw is not magnetic, and if you lose this screw, it will never charge the battery. It will never see a battery again. See that? It's not magnetic. It's a demagnetized screw. And if you lose this, I'm telling you, you will not find it online anywhere. The last time I found this piece of shit online, some fuckface was selling it for like $50. And if you lose that, you are absolutely, positively screwed. So don't lose that thing, because if you lose that, you are fucked. Just don't lose or you're stuck soldering like grounds or the power from the battery to the motherboard, which is not something that I would recommend doing. That's not something I would recommend doing. Okay, so let's see if I missed any other comments. You already trolled the Tweezer story. Ravenik said, can you speak German? Not a bit. Not one bit. Not a word. What's in that shelf next to you? There's a shelf? Oh, this thing is just laptops. Just machines that are getting stored. That orange case still rests on that shelf. Cleanup time. Yeah, I really should throw that person's data out. They clearly don't want it. And I want that. The thing is, I want that slot more than that person wants their data. Notero funded €1. I hope that's €1, or else I'm going to get in trouble. Get in trouble with the UK. Yeah. I feel like I want that shelf much more than that person wants their data. Beep beep, I'm a retina. No beeping. No beeping retina. Yeah, I might as well just play it for you so you can hear. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike on YouTube from Apple. I would be, you know what? I feel like someday I'm going to do a video on this, and I'm going to get a copyright strike from Apple because it beeps. Here. So hopefully I don't get a copyright strike from Apple for the beeping. You missed the donation by YYY. Oh crap. I'm in trouble. Let's see, was it a Twitch donation? It was not a Twitch one. Was it a YouTube Streamlabs thingy? Ah, no, I got it. I got it late. Okay, here we go. I'm behind. Why no $1,500 chair for Jason? Who wants a $1,500 chair, really? Can you overheat a board in such that it burns up other components? Yes. It takes effort to do, though. But a lot of people seem to do it with no effort at all. You played around with an Intel Edison yet? I haven't. Saying that even if you just put an alternative anti-magnetic screw in, it won't charge. No, that's not the issue. The issue is more that you're never going to find a screw that's that size. So don't lose it. I don't think the messages we delete in YouTube chat are deleted in your combined chat. That would suck. We use pound sterling, not toy money euro. Yeah. Hey, I'm learning, though. I'm learning. One line is pounds, 2 lines is euros. So. Geez, it's 2 microscope cameras. Yep. The chair is plastic because of ESD protection. Jason cares. Yeah, that's it. Wolfgang Stelzhammer is the chair. The chair is a cheap plastic folding chair for ESD protection. Jason is more professional than I am. He cares about. Is it euro or euro? Oh, you're tricking me.
Euro.
Why not get shelves half as thick and double the capacity? Because sometimes you like to stack things in the slot, and because the person who made this made it like this, and because if I wanted to buy a professional pre-made version of anything like this, it would cost me thousands of dollars more, and this one's already done. So since it's already done, I'm not gonna screw with it. Simple answer. Just found out Jess's shop is down the road. Now I want a road trip for a hug. Yeah, why not? Why not? You know, Jess and I argue about how we view fans and stuff like that all the time. So I think you should go to Jess's store, and I think you should give her a big hug. And I'll have a point for later tonight. Did you print Microsoft Surfaces? No. What do you think of the overall quality of it? I've never seen a Surface before. I don't believe they exist. I think of the Microsoft Surface the same way Alex Jones thinks of Sandy Hook. I've never seen one. I've seen a lot of advertisements for them, and it's not just because I'm stuck in this little echo chamber of only working on hipster stuff in a hipster neighborhood with a bunch of lefty colleges. I've been inside several large companies for other services. I've been inside of schools. I've never seen a fucking Surface. I've seen ads for the Surface. I've seen websites for the Surface. I have even seen that like bus ad, these ads by bus stops by my gym for the Surface, but I've never seen a Surface. So I don't believe they exist. Someday I'll see it and I'll believe it exists, but right now I don't believe they exist. So let's get this board, getting this board out of here. This is one of the most annoying ones to remove from the machine. I guess Touch Bar is kind of tying that, but yeah, these ones have stuff everywhere. Like this is the kind of shit that only Apple would do. So check this out. This is stuff that's just you. I have a Surface. I don't believe you. Again, you're sending me a picture of it, but it could have been photoshopped. You never know. I've never seen a person walking around with a Surface, and I just find it hard to believe that a multi-billion-dollar company as popular and large as Microsoft has a product out that I've never seen before in New York City. Bruce donated $1.28. I like trains. So see this? This is a cable, right? This is a black cable. And the black cable, when this is plugged in, is right over a screw. Gotta love it. This tip, gotta love it. They don't exist. It's all a big conspiracy. I agree. Microsoft Surface is a commie plot. When I see a real life Surface, I'll believe that it exists. But until I see a Surface, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but I'll make my decision on it eventually. Okay. So in this model, the RAM is right next to a bunch of plastic, easily breakable connectors because, well, Apple. And that's going to suck. So this is going to be a lot of taping. I have to... Lewis, you should send a screenshot to Eli of 1,200 viewers of an empty chair. I would never suggest that people send screenshots to Eli of 1,200 viewers with an empty... Because that would be mean. That would be mean, and that's absolutely, absolutely inappropriate. Never. No way in hell. That's mean. You should sell your business into YouTube full-time. That's a paradox, though. Do you think YouTube is a real job? Okay, let's go into that paradox while I figure out how to take this thing out. So the paradox there is YouTube a real job? I would say a real job is a job where you provide value to others, and in exchange you get paid for it. So here, this is kind of weird because I'm doing my job. I'm just filming doing my job. So it's like, is YouTube a real job if the only thing I'm doing for YouTube is an unedited recording of me doing my real job? Paradox. Paradox. So I've never really understood how to answer that question. Because, like, this is a real job. Like, I mean, at least for now, whatever the hell I'm doing is somewhat a real job. I hate the A1425 boards. Apple just... Why? If you were no short, would you get more viewers? I'm never going to try and find out. How about... I'm never going to try and find out. I will come to your store with a Surface. I don't believe it. There's no such thing as a Surface. Just cut it out. I kind of feel like they're trying to... Microsoft is trying to give Apple the idea that they can give them a run for the money. Let's release these commercials for this device that doesn't exist. Scare them off. But I've never seen one. Before he got banned off of Twitch and probably YouTube. Who's that? No ban. No ban. Hopefully I'm not banned. Am I banned? Did you get partnered on Twitch yet? Supposedly. Allegedly. So I have I sent the application. I got accepted for the application. They wanted me to fill something out. How do you go about working on machines that have recently been released? Terribly. Lots of guessing. If it comes to things like screens or parts like that, I don't do it at all. Because in the beginning, the screens are just fucking ridiculous. Like, for example, for the MacBook Air, that thing came... The newer MacBook Air, the one that didn't have the shitty MCP 79U, the one that had the power button integrated into the keyboard, that came out in 2010. I couldn't buy screens for that piece of shit until the end of 2013. It took 3 years after that machine came out for any vendor to have screens available. It's like, it's insanity. But that is the business we're in. So I just tell people, sorry, not much I can do. With liquid damage, again, I have a touch bar. It has a short on a rail. I know it's a rail. I don't know what rail it is. And I don't have a donor board. And I don't have... So that stuff's going to suck. Are you grounded somehow? Yes. I study philosophy. I used to go to a therapist. So I am very grounded, actually. I'm incredibly... I would say that I'm incredibly grounded. It's... Dear... Okay, so let's cover some of these connectors that are right by the RAM. So look at all the connectors we have right by the RAM. Thank you, Apple. So this is RAM, and this is a plastic connector, and this is another plastic connector, and this is another plastic connector, and hey, what do you know? Another plastic connector, another plastic connector. For seriously? Who came up with this? Who came up with this? They should get a kick in the dick. This board layout is completely deserving of a kick in the dick. A1502 is a little bit better. Okay. Why won't your line of work exist in 10 years? because I think all this stuff is going to be too small for humans to work on, or too cheap for it to be too cheap for it to be worthwhile in 10 years. But you never know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but if I'm right, well, I'd rather plan for it than not plan for it. And let's see on the bottom of the board. At least on the bottom of the board, I don't have to worry about connectors and stuff like that. So this board is a little dusty looking, but it's not corroded, it's just dusty. Bequeath. Let's see. Okay, it's got a little bit of brown stuff. But that doesn't look like liquid, that looks like something from factory. Never mind. Yeah, you corroded something, mofo. Sigh. Okay. So now, before we continue, I think it may be wise to check and see that VDIM is present. So I want to make sure that voltage is going to the memory before we do something silly. This is all audio right here, so none of this, to be clear, as nasty as this looks, none of that green stuff is going to have anything to do with my RAM beeping. Clark says 250. If Steve Jobs Ghost held a gun to your head forcing you to buy an Apple product, what would you buy? I would buy rechargeable batteries because they sell them on the Apple online store. On Apple.com, you can buy rechargeable batteries, which somebody actually sent me, and it's the only Apple product that I use for my camera. I mean, for my wireless mic transmitter. So I would buy, and they're not made by Apple. So I would, if I had a gun in my head, I'd buy the AA rechargeables. How do you plan your job going obsolete in 10 years, and how easy is it to get into data recovery? If you have to ask, then hard. I don't mean that to be mean, but like, you know, if you just want to get into something, it's a nightmare. If you want to tinker and experiment and screw around in your spare time and just do something because you're curious, then it'll be easy. But if you want to get into it, like today I don't know anything and tomorrow I want to be, or like in a week or a month or 2 months I want to do it as a profession, then you're just kind of fucking yourself. The higher the stakes, the worse you will learn. So anyway, now that I've taped up everything, who wants to bet that the place to measure VDIM is going to be under the tape? All right, so let's open up a schematic for this motherboard and go from there. So let's find a schematic for the 820-3462, I believe. Yeah, 3462. You fix my Apple II? No. Did you ever fix his phone I can't pronounce device? I've never even seen one. I can't even pronounce it, much less seen one, much less fix one. Would you go to a Trump rally in New York? I probably would, because again, like, it's not that I loved him, I just kind of preferred him over Hillary, which is kind of like saying that I prefer a corroded capacitor over a shorted capacitor. You know, it's not like... I would go to a Ron Paul rally. I would go to a Ron Paul rally any day, but yeah. Because you got to be careful when you use words like supporter, because I hear that you, like, Trump support, like, And a lot of people who voted for him, like, they it's not like support, it's... they chose the corroded capacitor over the shorted one, kind of thing. I would definitely go to a Ron Paul rally. I may or may not go to a Rand Paul rally, because Rand Paul, I like him, but he's kind of he's not what his dad was. But I probably would have went to a Rand Paul rally. But yeah, I'm not going to go to a Trump rally. Don't sell me. Don't sell me. What do you think of hipsters? That would fill up many, many hours. let's look for a reason. Let's look for something that's going to separate us from everybody else, and then use that to make ourselves seem cooler. Like, I am going to read a book that's yellow and tattered that nobody knows the name of. And then when somebody asks me what the name of the book is I'm reading, I'm going to tell that person, this book is out of production. You're never going to find it. It's about finding obscure things to make yourself appear cooler than you are. It's about, and there's a really, like the first studio I worked at had a lot of hipsters, and that was my first experience with hipsters, and it was like you're being passive aggressively insulted all the time. In the beginning, I was too stupid to even realize it, and it kind of made me sad because kind of made me sad. What are you getting for dinner tonight? And does Twitch partnership mean exclusivity for streaming on their website? Well, we cross that bridge when we get to it. So again, like I appreciate to like hell that there's a lot of people that watch this, that decided to watch this stuff on YouTube. I got up to 260,000 people on YouTube that chose to hit a button, decide to watch stuff here. So it'd be kind of screwed up if I can only stream to one platform. That would, but at the same time, the YouTube platform for streaming, it sucks. Again, like with chat, it's like the chat system here is just a complete pile. They don't even have scrolling working. And again, like I've been talking about this for like 9 months now. Like there's no way for me to properly scroll. I'll just give you an example over here. Before we, let's grab this. I'm gonna read some YouTube chat. Somebody said Eli was here, so I looked for him. So see, I'm behind by 4 minutes. Right now it says 8:09 p.m. and I'm scrolled to 8:05. So watch what happens when I continue scrolling. I'm going to get to a point at like 8:07 where I've reached the end, and then it's going to fast forward me to 8:09 because this thing sucks. I bet if this was coded by like a proper programmer like Paul Daniels, it would be better. Let's see. How do you determine motherboard model from system model number? System model number is in the bottom of the machine. Motherboard model number is going to be on the motherboard itself. Now, a question is, where is it? And here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets people. I can't tell you where the motherboard number is without knowing the motherboard number, because on different motherboards, the number is located in a different space. So if you can tell me what your motherboard number is, then I can tell you where the motherboard number is located. However, you need to find the number in order for me to tell you where the number is. Paradox. The second paradox of the day. See what it did? You see what it did there? Did you catch that shit? It just fucking scrolled me back all the way. It scrolled like 3 pages with one click. It triggers me, man. It triggers me. Do you feel that Trump is now just as much a shorted cap as Hillary? I'm not a fan. Again, with the Syria thing, like, yeah, I mean, like, one person said war, the other is like no war. Another person that said no war is saying, meh. Yeah, that makes me sad. Ron Paul. I like Ron Paul. But see, this is why this chat app is useless. So, I mean, with the right offer, Twitch could get me. But just because, like, at the very least, there is open communication with people that do this stuff. Like at YouTube, there is none. They don't give a fuck about you. And YouTube does not care that you exist. They would drop you like a hot potato without thinking twice. They just and that is okay. So what am I looking for here? And I realize that, and I have that level of loyalty to YouTube. But if I was gonna leave it, it'd have to be for a good reason. Couldn't be for like some vice reason. Like sign this contract and then we'll tell you how many episodes you get to do. Sign this contract and then we'll tell you if you get to still have a business. Yeah, no thanks. F that. And then we'll tell you if you still get to upload videos and whatnot. All right, so I'm supposed to be getting 0.75 volts there. I get 0.67. Is that too little, too much, too little, too much? What am I supposed to be getting there? Let's see. PPVTT, DDR, S3. What am I supposed to be getting there? I bet I'm supposed to be getting more. Hey. 0.67 and 0.75. Yeah, that's off by about 10%. That's a little too much. That sounds like it's off by a little too much. Let's check out U7300. Let's look at the U7300 area. So U7300 is what's going to create that. So let's look at this. TPS 51916, U7300. And where's that going to be? Okay, so that's going to be right over here. And let's do this. Twitch's new affiliate program should fix quite a lot. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to get people to switch from YouTube, just because they don't. But it have to be something. I am trying to slowly migrate people to Twitch because it has a much more usable chat. Okay, now if only I had a known working board so I could kind of measure what that is. So there's a couple of different things that could be going on here. This chip could be bad. It could be that there's a short to ground because one of the RAM chips itself is bad. A bad RAM chip would most certainly cause the voltage to go down on the RAM. I get 17.8 kiloohms, so I'm going to take a wild guess that it ain't a short circuit on the RAM. I don't think that that's a short circuit on the RAM at all, especially because this is a rail. Do keep in mind that this is a rail that is a 0.75 volt rail, so you would expect a low resistance to ground on that. Something knocked off next to the RAM chip. No, I don't see anything knocked off. Do you? Am I missing something? Use many Linux distro, and Ubuntu is definitely sturdier. Again, when somebody can tell me how to use real audio plugins with Open Broadcaster and Linux, I'll do it. But as long as it's that messy jack nightmare thing, then I will wait. Let's see. What do you think about this quote? Just because a man tries to fix his mistakes in one day doesn't mean the world will recognize the change in one day. Huh. I agree. I don't have much to say on it. Customer brings you a Surface, what will you do? I would change my opinion based on new evidence. Are you going to reflow the RAM chips? I may just replace that thing first. Make Amy Marie a mod on YouTube. Okay, let's find you. Here we go. Bam, you are now a moderator. My only female viewer is now a moderator. Jack D is terrible sometimes. Yeah, it's just... I like things that just work. I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. YouTube video is still better than Twitch in the browser for consistency. Lost count how many times last night Lewis's Twitch video stream stopped here in a 50 and 5 connection. Alright, so what do you vote for? There's no short to ground. Would you, behind door number 1, replace this chip? Behind door number 2, reflow the RAM. Behind door number 3, table flip and beat the board into an oblivion. What do you think? Reflow? I feel like I should replace U7300 first. And there's not much to this chip. It's not like everything is done inside U7300. Like here, if we look at U7300 on the page here, I mean, look at it. Let's see. See this? Like, that voltage comes out of pin 5, I believe. I mean, there's nothing to it. There's one capacitor on that line, and there's a chip. It's not like a fancy schmancy buck converter. It's not anything crazy. Now, just for the hell of it, let's check this one as well, because there's another RAM voltage that has to be present, I believe. Actually, wait, no, this is the fancy schmancy. So let's check out the 1.5 volt one. So let's look on, let's say, C7340. Because there are 2 RAM voltages here. C7340. And what do we get on the other side of the board? Okay. Pin 1. Let's turn you beeping mofo on. Door number everybody wants door number 3. Nobody wants me to make it. Nobody wants me to make any money. Nobody wants me to make a dime. Okay, I must be measuring the wrong cap because I'm seeing 3 volts. Am I measuring the wrong cap? I think I may be. Shit. Let's see. So we have this 6-legged shit over here. Am I viewing the right thing? Let's see. The board in the right orient. Yeah, it is. All right. So what am I looking for? So I'm looking for this thing. So directly above and to the left of the CPU. So this is the CPU. Oh, I'm looking at this one. The heatsink was confusing me. All right. So over here, what do we get? 1.5? And we get 1.355. Let's see. So the RAM is getting 1.355 volts when it should be 1.5 on this rail. And this rail that's supposed to be 0.75 volts is over here is 0.67. So, yeah, both are actually lower than they're supposed to be by a little bit, which would lead me to believe it's either U7300 or a bad RAM chip that's pulling the voltage down. So I'm inclined to believe it's U7300, and here's why. If a bad RAM chip was pulling the voltage down, I would notice a short to ground, and I don't see any short to ground existing, which leads me to believe that it could be the chip that is creating the voltage that's bad, which is going to be U7300, which is where? Come on. Come on. Here we go. U7300. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Hello, hello. Give me U7300. Here we go. Over here. 51916. Let's get rid of that. Let's repeal and replace it with a new one. My digital to analog converter is blocking my fume extractor's power switch. Mother. Come on, stand there. Stand up. There we go. I can wedge you between the desk and the amp. Beautiful. If only people saw what this place looked like, they would never send something here. Walk in your store, can I ignore the desk person and walk straight to the back? Steve would probably hurt you. I have a feeling that if you did that, Steve would probably hurt you. I wouldn't try that. Okay, now to find a board that has that on it. Let's find a nice pretty one. Not an ugly one. I want a pretty chip. If both voltages are down, it's likely U7300. And I really want it to reflow RAM. Man! I wanted to go smooth brain. I was looking forward to going fully smooth brain. Once you buy your tools, where is the best place to set up shop? Wherever you can work that's not going to cost you a lot of money. That's the best place to set up shop. Wherever you can work out of, that's not going to cost you a lot of money. You can always spend a lot of money on a new place later on. But in the beginning, don't do that. Why, when you're working on the motherboard, are you using the microscope to solder and desolder, or do you work with your eyes? Before, I used to work without the microscope, but since YouTube, I work with a microscope so that you can see what I'm doing, because without a microscope, you wouldn't see shit. And I've gotten used to using the microscope. U7300, missing bottom right component. That is no stuff, so that's not even... So a lot of the times Apple makes a design and it goes, oh, my bad, bro, we don't need that. And then tangled wire. Oh, no. Don't tangle. There we go. Chucky says, never go full smooth brain. I try. Let's replace this old cruddy stuff, some new stuff, then wick it up. Damn, Amy is on a modding spree. I like it. Thank you, Amy. Amy and TCRS and Mobile Fix are doing a great job of killing cancer in the chat. By the way, hello to Mobile Fix. Oh, MobiFix or MobileFix. I always read that wrong. What is the most profitable thing to repair? I have no idea. Suppose the most profitable thing to do is print your own money. Printing your own money, that's probably the most profitable thing to repair. Stonio says, I will never use the YouTube chat again. Chucky says lots of cancer in YouTube chat. Well, we got some good stuff. Can you please show a 0102 device under a microscope in the tweezers to appreciate how small those suckers are to solder? I don't have one on hand, unfortunately. All right, let's clean up that section of the board. Good enough for rock and roll. Good. Do you have a coin? No. How about this? So you know those eighth inch to quarter inch headphone plugs that you can use to plug an eighth inch set of headphones into a quarter inch jack? And as you can see, it's sadly been circumcised. So this is a quarter inch to eighth inch headphone plug, and that is the chip. Tiny, tiny. Would you ever fix a vintage Mac if somebody gave you the good working chips and paid you enough? Probably not. Who are they gonna blame when it dies again a week later? Me! Shit, dropped my alcohol. 1.35 volt supplies for DDR3L, low voltage RAM. I believe you have the DDR3L. So I did go full smooth brain. I did go full smooth brain. All right. Probably did this for nothing. There's a good chance I did this for nothing. I would check on another 820-3462, but I have none. And he used to do this without the scope. Yes. Duke does a lot of his work without a microscope. You should ask what Duke uses as a hot air station, by the way. One of the best people in this business. And you would scream if you saw some of what he used to do the work. No, don't spin. This is so the wrong tip for this job. You ever get hugs from customers? Very rarely. I once saw a documentary, I think it was on TLC, about foreskin reconstruction surgery. Apparently it never became a thing. Lol. Just notice you put your hand in front of your hot air stream. How hot is the air? Hot. Very hot. Ouch hot. Don't touch the hot air station hot. Yeah, just so I don't get sued, by the way, in case anybody out there and wants to emulate me, don't touch the hot air station. You will burn yourself. Gotta have the right tip for every job. Man, there's a lot of cancer being deleted and timed out. Good stuff. Why is the Don't Scream Around Children video restricted? I have no idea. I have no idea. That's a great question for YouTube. And you have a better chance of getting an answer from them than I do. So, yeah. Yeah, I have no clue why they do some of the things that they do. And if I ask, they'll say, have you seen our help forum? Where you can get answers from other people that are as clueless as you. Yeah. That's one thing that's nice about Twitch. Real people. And even when you get to talk to a real person at YouTube, it's not a real person. It's a robot pretending to be a real person. Like some Ex Machina shit. And they're really good. Like the robot in Ex Machina, it's incredibly convincing that it's a real thing. But it's not a person. You may think it's a person, but you got fooled. Alright, so let's see if our voltage changed. I'm pretty sure it didn't change. I have a feeling that this is going to be either bad RAM, bad PCH, or some other shit. Alright, hello. Where is my test point? I don't have a speaker, so this is how I'm... Yeah, same voltage. That wasn't it. Same voltage. ITC Extreme was right. ITC Extreme was on point. Listen to ITC Extreme. Yeah, alright. At least now we get to do what I wanted to do all along. Can you guess what that is? We get to reflow. Yes, yes, I like my reflow. Why not stream on Twitch? I'll consider it. I'm gonna thank you for the idea. I will give it a shot. Let's see. Where is Tektronix? I fixed the Tektronix an hour ago. Now I'm on to the next one. You do teaching or coaching using Skype? No, that's a nightmare. Because like the thing is, you're gonna ask me questions and I'm not gonna know how to answer them because I can't see what you're doing. So I have the forum, which is a basic support tier, but I don't like... I need to see what people are doing for the most part. And also, that like, the forum is not a real-time thing, whereas Skype would be a real-time thing, which... Yeah... No real-time, but... Okay, let's get to preheating. We'll start with chip number 1. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to heat 2 at a time. I'm going to preheat both, but then heat one so that the next chip is always ready for me. See? I'm smart. I have a brain with curves in it. My brain has curves in it. I'm going to prove it. Do you think it's reasonable to assume someone with moderate soldering skills will be able to give what you do a go? Sure, my soldering skills suck. I'm not here because of soldering skills, I'm here because of thinking. You know? I can solve problems and figure things out that other people can't. That's what makes me good at this. My soldering is like, poof. My hands constantly shake. I can't solder something on straight or put anything on straight to save my life. Okay, let's get this one going. Come off. Come on. Dance for me. Dance. Dance. Well, geez. There we go. It danced, and now on to the next one. You encourage me to drop out of my religious studies degree and become your apprentice. No to the second one, yes to the first one. Religious studies degree. What the hell, man? What the hell are you going to do with that? What, seriously, what are you going to do with that? Explain to me how you're going to make any of the 1,290 people watching, how are you going to make any of their life better or provide any of them with a useful service with a religious studies degree? Like, come on. That's what I hate about colleges now. Like they're not degrees anymore. They're lobotomies. Again, if you want to learn about it as a hobby, more power to you. I'm not going to judge you for your hobbies, but that's not a hobby. That's a degree, and you're probably going into debt for it. Jesus. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Do you still sell right to repair pads and t-shirts at your store? Yes, I have a bunch left. I got to get on selling that. I got to... All right. I think I'm using a temperature that's a little too low. I'm being a little too conservative here. Yeah, so the solder on the capacitors next to it is clearly melted. Come back to you. Yeah, none of these chips want to dance. That one danced. This one's about to close to it. There we go, danced. All right, now you. If I don't see a bottom heater under the board, do you use them? I preheated the Tektronix board on the Zomo with the infrared. On this one, I'm not. Memtest will show you which space is faulty, and then you can set a Linux boot parameter for the kernel to ignore that address space. None of that is possible if when you turn it on, it beeps, unfortunately. The issue with this one is that there's something under there. Come back to you. They need to lift that. What is that? Don't buy a BGA machine, to the person that asked that question. Don't buy a BGA machine. See, like ones like this, that one reflowed instantly, whereas this, some of them are taking quite longer, which is interesting. There we go. Yeah, like this is moving, but it's actually stuck on a side. The hell? What is that? Yeah, like there's these little pieces of hair everywhere. Ugh. Yeah. That's why I'm just doing a little tap with the tweezers. A little tap with the tweezers, even if there's not a huge tap, not a this, but like a dink, just so that if there's something under the chip that's holding it there, some piece of dirt or some shit, it gets lodged right out. I saw a corroded capacitor. Ah, you mean this thing? That's not really that. I don't think that's terrible. Anything that looks corroded at this point is probably just flux. Lots of flux. Ah, the other side is preheated for me. What do you know? This ain't as hot as it used to be. Like, I should be burning myself right now. This should be painful. I was referring to the module that if I had attempted reflow for that time and it seemed that there was something under the module, I would have lifted, reballed, or replaced. I kind of... Yeah, but that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. I mean, I do this with the SMC all the time. With the SMCs that are corroded, I often reflow. And I also like to see if I get a difference. So, for example, let's say I get a difference in behavior, then I'll know that I'm at least on the trail. And then, okay, maybe I should replace that module. So I kind of want to have a hint first. I want a hint to lead me in that direction. Maybe you should have ultrasonic the board. Yeah, but I like having my hints, though. Like, for example, I know that there was crap under those chips because I saw it, which gives me a hint, and having hints are helpful. I like having hints. It's funny because Jason's hot air station is going out as well. My first repair was when I was about 7, but that was back in 1980. It was all nice and easy through-hole tech, things you could see. Wow. What is your opinion on the millennial generation as a whole? It's hard to have an opinion on an entire generation. It's hard. Like, I made a mistaken video 2 years ago talking about entitlements in the generation, but I've realized is that, like, a lot of entitlements actually started with the baby boomer generation. It shows itself in different ways as time goes on. You jinxed the Weller last week. I sure did. Is this one of those that's soldered on SSD? No. No, that's the new, that's the touch bar crap. And the new 12-inch, which is a pile. You order a quick yet? I gotta order another one so I can review it. My 70-year-old neighbor spit at me because he didn't like me. Yeah, this whole concept of respecting your elders, I disagree with that. Every time I use that, I get fucked. Like there was this one group of people this weekend that was screaming and screaming and screaming, going, "Are you even a real technician?" Because I told them it would take a day and a half for the data to transfer, and it's like, dude, I'm watching a bar move on a screen. I can't make that bar move faster. And the thing is, you know, I would have usually thrown somebody like that out politely, but I would have just tossed them out. And instead, I service them because they're elders. Yeah, don't respect people just because they're elderly. You should respect people who are respect-worthy, whether they are young or old, but automatically giving respect to the elders is just a pile. Because there's a lot of miserable fucks that are just, you know... I'm not going to give somebody an award just because they managed to drag themselves over to year 70. You could be a miserable prick for 70 years and then magically get respect with that respect to your elders thing. I don't even see the flux moving away. Do I even have hot air anymore? Hello? Hello? That flux should have melted away by now, I know it. This is not as hot as it used to be. Lame. Now I got 2 hot air stations that don't put out hot air. Your rant is sometimes better than Joe Rogan's. I don't even know shit about fixing computers, but sometimes you just gets to me. Huh. I need my hot air. Give me hot air. I don't want to... Oh, man. Come on. Yeah, this ain't what it used to be. Because I know I've done some streams where I've done this exact same job before, and I've done it on larger boards, by the way. You've seen me do this on the 3787, the 00163. So, I mean, you've seen me do this before, and you've seen the speed at which it works and all that. How do you determine who is respect-worthy? How do they treat me? What are their virtues and values? Do they have virtues and values? What do they stand for? Do they stand for anything? It's a hairdryer now. I wish I had a hairdryer. This is bull. Man, I got a lot more to go. What if I take the nozzle off? How about if I take the nozzle off? Yeah, this ain't the same as it usually is. Because I usually got much more heat than this. Come on off. Don't make me turn you off to take the heat thing off. Don't make me do it. That's hot. Not to paraphrase Paris Hilton at all, but this is just not as hot, but is hot. Hot enough that you shouldn't touch it with your bare hands. Not hot enough to reflow RAM. Okay, let's see what this does. Instead of curiosity. you answer these questions when someone walks into your store for the first time? That's the thing, I can't tell who is respect-worthy, but I can easily tell who is not respect-worthy. And the thing is, I don't determine it. They tell me. What's the bet that Jason switched the stations? I don't think he did that. I don't think Jason would do that to me. Nozzle off won't do it. Lame. Let's see, what if I do it without microscope? Just to see. I feel like I've lost the superpower again. Yeah, sorry, I know you can't see shit. Gotta do what I have to do. Let's see, do we get anything going like this? This is why I usually buy expensive or good tools, because I have no patience for when tools fuck up. Do I gotta move? I saw something move. Yeah, that's dancing. Alright, next chip. Next chip. Alright. I got it. This is sad. Need new gear for next stream. Note to self, get working equipment before next stream. This is a joke. You're better off using a goddamn hairdryer. Ah, this is frustrating as fuck. This is what it must feel like to use an IOE. This is definitely what it feels like to use an IOE. Is it true New York is full of freaks? Yes. Let's go over this side for a minute. Every tool's life one day comes to an end. Did you check the temp? Maybe you turned the wheel the wrong way. Perhaps that's the reason that this doesn't want to work. Mother flower. Kind of miss working without a microscope, actually. Brings me back to the good old days. I am one with the solder. I'm not looking through a window anymore. Okay, definitely time for a new heating element for this. Okay, now time for a cleaning. Time for a cleaning. The ultrasonic is still hot, beautiful. Let's just degas it a little bit. Why are you working at 7 p.m.? Why are you watching a stream at 9 p.m. actually? Your poor neck. Yeah, this desk is not set up for the ergonomics of what I was just doing. Just click one of the Amazon links below for a new hot air station. Why, maybe I shall. Maybe I shall. Let's get the heatsink off. Yeah, what the fuck? This should be burning. There's no reason right now that my finger is not getting third-degree burns. That should be a piece of shit. All right. The magnet is stuck. Shit. How do I save my finger? I refuse to put on another set of gloves tonight. Excellent. Too cheap. This is why you should keep a hot air gun handy for emergencies. I have a HAKKO FR801 back there, but that thing working is actually shittier than the Weller is broken, sadly. How much do you make monthly? Enough. Do you wear safety glasses? No. I honestly shouldn't be doing this close. Like in here, my eyes are fine, but like this, you're right. That really should have glasses. That's kind of asking to go blind. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ever been to Staten Island? I grew up there. Yes. Never want to go back. Same comment again. Okay. Copying and pasting comments makes them go away. There's far too much crap in here to read. The copied and pasted comment. Okay, maybe I was a little mean. Undo. Weller or HAKKO? Probably Weller. I had to go back and do everything all over again. HAKKO's hot air station is really something else. How much Lewis make? Not much by New York standards. I never understood that. Like, how many... Do you have my tax returns? Do you know something that I don't? Because I had some comment the other day saying, sorry, Lewis, you're never going to retire by whatever time. Or it's like, It's awesome that so many people have my tax returns that I've never met. Let's see. Have you used the HAKKO 810? I don't know the difference between the 810A and the 810B, but the 810 that I used was incredibly frustrating. It has that alarm clock interface. I really hate the alarm clock interface. It's annoying as hell. Let me mute the mic for a minute. Content with my modding. That's excellent modding, Amy. That's some quality modding. Ew, Staten Island. Yeah, ew, Staten Island indeed. I'm so confused. Is this in YouTube too? Yes, it's YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Two streaming platforms at the same time. Every man stream. Every man wants to have two streaming platforms at the same time. Flip the board over, ultrasonic off the rest of that flux. Ultrasonic ASMR time. Yep, beautiful noises. Over 1,000 viewers of Lewis's desk view, Eli rage. Yeah, poor Eli. Poor Eli. That's... Poor Eli. Let's see. Is it me or are you streaming in 60 frames per second? I am. What's happening with your mic? Lots of feedback. That's the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm cleaning a board. How much is the total startup cost for buying the basic equipment for fixing boards? I'd say a few thousand if you want to buy good stuff. Your sound has distortion. Yes, that's the ultrasonic cleaner cleaning the board. Let's see. What brand of Captain tape you use? Whatever the cheapest one that shows up on Amazon that has Prime is. Really, I don't care. Like any Captain tape will do. I just buy whatever is available that will get shipped quickly and work. I've never found the need to like one Captain tape over another one. Obi-Wan donated $3. You want to buy some death sticks? I don't get it. Have you ever met Lady Ada? I was at the Hope conference last year, and I got to hear her speak for a half hour, but I never met her in terms of like actually meeting her and talking to her. As I would not want to torture any of the people I watch on YouTube by doing, and I hope that they will have the same courtesy towards me. Wink. Funds for Lewis to purchase new hot air stations. That's at £2. Awesome, £2. Hopefully I'm getting them right. Yeah, so anybody that I know on YouTube, anybody that, not that I know on YouTube, I should rephrase this. Anybody that I watch on YouTube, if I meet them in real life, I give them the courtesy of not walking up to them and talking to them. It's just that one of those small courtesies that I will give to others in the hopes that it will come back to me. It's like karma. But yeah, she gave a good talk. Her and her husband gave a good talk at the Hope Conference last year, and I do intend to go to the Hope Conference this year. Cigarettes or death sticks? Ah, yes. Maybe he means cigarettes, but $3 wouldn't cover a pack. It is. I don't think cigarettes would cover a Lucy in New York, actually. I don't think cigarettes would cover a Lucy. Hope you're having a good day. I'm always up beyond 3 a.m. watching your streams. Thank you. Let's see. Does anybody know how to clean the oils off keyboards? Clean room wipe, maybe some Windex. Yeah, I'm not much of a Star Wars fan. I watched 1 or 2 of the movies when I was a kid, and I actually fell asleep. I thought it was boring as hell. I know that I'm gonna. That's like 2,000 downvotes immediately right there. But I thought Star Wars was boring as shit. Just no interest. I don't find a lot of fiction that entertaining. Like, there's some fiction I find entertaining, but there's too much crap going on in the real world that's crazy for me to bother following fiction. You know, it's like, even if I spent all of my time, I invested 110% of my time into just learning about news and history and whatnot, I would still not even be close to knowing a quarter of what's going on. But I can't imagine watching a lot of fiction. Did he fix the board? I don't know yet. I have to dry it off and try it out. Once I dry it off and try it out, then I'll know if it works. It was me who said you're not retiring at 34, but I was saying that because Apple is shredding their used stuff, so no cheapo donor parts. There'll always be something else to do. Does the ultrasonic have the ability to shake some shitty connected part loose, or is that not a thing? Usually it doesn't shake the part loose. What it'll do is it'll remove whatever's remaining of the pad of a crappy part. And again, if it can't survive the ultrasonic cleaner, then I can't give it back to a customer. Like, if the ultrasonic will knock something off, then that means that the board is not in good enough condition to go back to a customer. HAKKO 810 compared to HAKKO 801. The 810 is much more powerful, but the 810's interface sucks balls. So the 801 has a much better interface. However, the 810 is just not. The 801 is just not powerful. Like, I mean, in the beginning, I thought it was great. It's the HAKKO 801 is great in contrast to an IUE or an ATN. Otherwise, no. 801, no. From what I hear from everybody, I would get a quick 861. Yeah, I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from what I read, but I would probably get the quick before I got an FR 801. Lewis inspires people to get into electronics repair. We will help society save from e-waste problems in the future. One can only hope. There's only so much I can do. But hundreds of thousands of you doing the same thing, that would do something. Wikipedia owner formed a group of journalists that only reports on fact-checked news, apparently. Cool stuff. Yeah, but whose facts? And who checks them? And whose sources? That's where that gets into tricky territories. That's where that gets into tricky territory. What do you use the microscope for? For seeing small things. Can you replace the heating elements? I should be able to. Okay, time to toss that board from the air filter into the oven for a drying. So, because all the heavy droplets are gone now. And if it still beeps, then balls to this, I'm getting a burrito. If it still beeps, then balls to this. That can go in a trash can. I mean e-waste. I mean trash can. You know, trash can has the. I like the way trash can sounds a lot better. Hey, Tarman, how are you? Let's see. Cancer is subjective. Point taken. Ah, that's a much sturdier chair. Yes, I like that. All right. Okay, the sooner that board dries, the sooner I can get a burrito. Jack Audio Kit works with Linux, similar to VB Audio, the virtual cable software. It depends on your definition of works, though. If by works you mean as soon as I start it, Pulse Audio, which is the default audio output, turns off and I can't hear anything, then it works great. To confusing-ass routing, yeah. I have to figure out how to make a virtual audio cable in Jack, because I figured out how to pipe the audio from the HDMI card to Jack. Then I figured out how to pipe that into a plugin. Then I figured out how to make that plugin output to somewhere, but I need to make that plugin output to something that Open Broadcaster can see. And that's the part that I'm stuck at now, because I don't spend more than 15 minutes of my day on figuring out how to do things I can already do in one system on another. But I would like to figure out how to make Jack pump that audio to Open Broadcaster. I need some type of device. I got to install some type of device. But I just don't. It's like I feel weird figuring out how to do something I already know how to do on another platform. I don't know. Like I could use that time for so many other things. Let's see. What is considered a good profit margin in repair business? For me, I would say you should make at least twice whatever the part cost minimum, so that you're not stuck in a situation where if something goes, how do I put this? Well, like if you had to buy another one or this, that, or the other, you're not screwed. So like if it's but then again, with stuff like what I'm doing right now, the parts cost almost nothing, and what you're paying for is the work. I don't know. That's something that I should do a video on or answer when I'm not hungry. If you could push it into a browser audio out, you can shove it into Open Broadcaster. That kind of sounds like a lot of jerry-rigging, though. Why can't... If you can push it into browser audio out, then... Have you had any issues with the latest YouTube advert drama? Not really. I mean, if I say something controversial, it's in the middle of a 2-hour stream on, sysclock RTC 32 kilohertz shorted to ground, so it's not like... I don't think there's an algorithm to detect that yet. Like, hey, within this 2-hour stream where this person's talking about VCCIO versus VCore, the RTC circuit, and why PP3V42 is needed before PP-bus G3 high, find the thing that he said about fourth-wave feminism. Like, I don't think there's an algorithm for that yet. Can you maybe use make FIFO to make a raw audio file you could stream from? That sounds incredibly unnecessarily complicated. You fixed the thingy so it doesn't blow the circuit breaker. No, I actually am still jerry-rigging the Zal mount to the 220-volt outlet for the air conditioner. See, virtual audio cable. This is the one that I have. I think I bought this, but this doesn't work in Linux. Yeah, I actually paid for this thing. It's great. It's just Windows only. I use it on Windows. It's great. Let's see. Usually on Twitch, streamers abuse their mods to figure out stuff like that. Well, audio jerry-rigging bad, electrical jerry-rigging good. Well, the electrical jerry-rigging is fine because I'm never using the air conditioner with the Zalma. I'm only using one at a time. If I were to use both at a time, then it would be bad, but I don't do that. Yes, the audio jerry, again, that just seems like one of those things where I'm going to spend 45 minutes fucking with it. After spending 45 minutes fucking with it, it's not going to work. Like, output the audio to a file, then have to play. How do I sync that up with the video? How do I get the file back? It sounds like a lot of work for something that's probably going to be... It sounds like a lot of work for something that in the end may not work. Like, I don't mind doing a lot of work if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but I got to see the light. Like, if I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, then I'm not doing it. Okay, new rule. I'm not reading comments that are written in all caps. Do not... New rule. No all caps. You think you're going to Hackintosh this machine? I may, just for fun. Just for that. Nah, still smells like alcohol. Needs more time in the oven. It's probably a ways to look for your feminist comments. Want to argue with that? Just talking about how the Weller lasted longer than the JBC. The Weller did last longer than the JBC. Wait for board to dry. This is like waiting for paint to dry, except it's a board. Anything you do different if you get Twitch partnered? I don't know how Twitch partnership I honestly don't understand exactly what the benefits are, exactly how it works. So I'm not sure what I would do differently. How should I get more customers if I just do simple repairs out of my car? Do good work, advertise more. Do you have a website? Is it a good website? Does it answer people's questions? Because most people's websites, they just say what it is they're doing. They don't answer the questions that people have before they ask them. Get a website that answers people's questions before they're asked. What kind of degree or training did you get? I'm a bum. I dropped out of college, then I failed out of college, and then I dropped out of college. I think in that order. I'm a bum. Don't need training to be a janitor. Let's say I had a ton of new SSDs and wanted to send you one. If you have a ton of new SSDs, you should sell them on eBay and put that towards your retirement fund. If you have a bunch of new SSDs, I would sell them if you don't need them, and then put that into an account labeled Teal Knight's Retirement. Or if you're, whatever, like Teal Knight's, you know, Hookers and Blow Fund, or whatever the hell it is you do for fun. I don't know. But there's a new Twitch system coming so you can earn money from Twitch without being a partner. Just thought I would tell you. Huh. Linux is fine for purpose-built computer systems, but just doing ordinary general-purpose computing, it's not very reliable. I actually think the opposite is true. For general-purpose computing like web browser, QuickBooks Online, online shipping software, check my email, play music, play video, look at schematic, that's fine. It's when I want to do something for a very specific purpose that it's a nightmare, like use this special inventory software that only works on Windows or Mac, or use this special audio plugin that only works on Windows or Mac, or use this special video editing plugin that only works on Windows or Mac. Like, the more specific your business becomes, the more niche it becomes, the less likely it is that anybody is going to develop that niche or not incredibly popular product for an unpopular platform. You could run advertising when you go to put the board in the ultrasonic. I did. Didn't you see the commercial that I added? I added a commercial when I used the bathroom. It's an affiliate system which they will be using, but you need a minimum follower amount. All right, so let's see. What do I have? On Twitch, I got, let's see, on YouTube. Where am I on the YouTube? Let's see. On YouTube, I have 261,567. And on Twitch, I have... Load time, Warner. Load. I have 1,981. Well, that's a gap. All right. Yeah. So my YouTube has a lot, but my Twitch is fairly noobish. We'll see. Love the content you push out from Navman. Thank you. We're having a moment of silence for your Weller on Jess's channel. You know what the funny thing is? I didn't pay for either of these hot air stations. Like, this Weller, the funniest thing about this Weller is that I got it. I wanted to pay for it. They said, you have to send us a purchase order. And I said, I already have the station. I'm not going to pay an additional $15 a month for the QuickBooks package that allows me to make a purchase order just for this. It's not 1976 anymore. I usually buy things with a credit card. Or if you don't take credit, that's fine. I'll pay with cash or a check or even a money order. But I'm not upgrading my QuickBooks just to buy a hot air station. So I said, can you give me the address that I mail the check to and tell me how much it's for, and I will pay for it. And they never got back to me because apparently they have so much money that they don't have to get back to people that owe them $600 or $700. So they never did. So the hot air station was free. I'm still waiting for an email. By all means, if the person who I was talking to wants to email me and get the money for this hot air station. That would be awesome, because I think I need a proof of purchase or a receipt if I want to get warranty from Weller. I'm happy to pay for it, but that's one of my dreams. I hope to be so successful one day that somebody owes me $600, and it's not like it's a collections call. They want to pay, and I just fucking ignore them because I have so much money. That is one of my dreams. I want to be one of those vendors that's just above and beyond rich, like Jessa. One of these days I'll be rich like Jessa. Okay, so let's see. Does it beep or does it chime? What do you think? What do you vote? Beep or chime? Damn, it's cold in here. Brr. Beep. Hopefully it chimes. Give me a chime and not a beep. Like Trump, he doesn't pay up. Oh, come on. That's nonsense. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that Trump has not paid for, and sometimes even his lawyers have not agreed with it. But I can say as a small business owner, there are so many times that I paid money for shit and I got garbage. Like for example, like look at let's just talk. Yeah, check this out, because I'm not going to say I agree with him on everything, but I will say that a lot of the stuff is really one-sided. Okay, so do you see how there's bubble wrap in the air conditioner over here? See this part? See, check this out. See this? A lot of that was put in by a contractor that charged me about $3,500, who was also high on, I forget the drug he was on. My old shipping clerk would actually be able to tell me. But there's a lot of, or what else is there? Like, see this floor? See this floor? Somebody, check this out. Paid about $10,000 for construction, and this is my floor. See this? See this? See this? We got a ramp. We have a ramp made of the cheapest shit from Home Depot. Because this floor is above this floor. Why is this floor higher than this floor? Who the fuck knows what drugs they were on when they did that? But this floor is higher than that one. So to fix it, they made a ramp, which now has a hole in it. Again, like maybe it's a New York thing, but like there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of contractors that do good work, but there's also a lot of contractors that do not deserve, that should not be paid a fucking dime, ever. And I just managed to meet most of them. Managed to meet quite a lot of them. And there's I could go on forever with examples, but yeah, there are a lot of contractors that absolutely should not be paid ever for anything. And I could go on for a long time on it, but okay, this is pretty cool now. So we have this, and this. But yeah, it's like, I want to pay you. Where do I mail my check to or money order? Silence. That's the thing. I'll pay my bill. I'm not going to chase you to pay my bill. I'll happily pay my bill, but I'm not going to chase you for it. Some people are out of their damn mind. You piece of shit. What a piece of shit. All right. We'll come back to this another day. I'll finish up chat and get out of here. So what am I missing? Yeah, beep. Beep. Yeah. The YouTube chat scrolled me again. What desk studio monitors would you recommend for a few hundred? Axiom Audio M2 V2. You'll need a subwoofer with that. Like I would suggest the Sue Research STF2 subwoofer with Axiom Audio M2. Those are good. Oh, that's a good pair. That's a good little pair. Have you look at Tektronix products? Boo. Their website last time I checked was not even Weller, but some other company with the... Weller's website sucks. Weller's website is god-awful. It's terrible. They make some good products. Can you download a purchase order template and send them that? It's like I'm trying to send you money. I'm trying to send you money. I want to send you money. Please, come on. I mean, some people are real. When was the last time that it's on my desk? It's right here. I have it now. If I'm saying I want to give you this money, and you're like, no, I cannot accept it. Like, what the? Big people are nuts. Homies in the cement business. Yeah. All right. Time to get a burrito. This board repair failed. With any luck, the Tektronix worked. I'm out of here. I don't think you learned anything because I didn't make anything work again. And that will be it for today. That will be it for... Can you reball the GPU on my PS3? No, because I like you too much to give you a crappy job that will not work longer than a week or two. Let's see. What about Polk? Oh, fuck Polk. Fuck Polk. No, Su Research. HSU Research. It's Dr. Paul Sessu. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Paul Sessu. Dr. Paul Sessu. The best subwoofers on earth. The best audio amp. I don't believe a lot in a lot of the sound differences. I mean, like Parasound makes some good stuff, like the HCA series from Parasound. They're good stuff. Adcoms are good. There's just a few small changes I would make and stuff like the GFA 555 to make them a little better. Okay, time to get out of here. Time to get out of here. We had some success, some failure, and that's it for today.